Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to this, your mid to late March reading. I've got two really quick announcements. One, my camera has a tendency to go into a complete spaz attack. It does reset itself. I don't edit my videos, so just bear with me. It's not your device when you're watching this video. It's my camera, and it's just part of the video. The second thing, Sagittarius, I do want to apologize for not getting this video out to you in a timely manner. I have been experiencing a couple of rather serious health issues in the last week to 10 days. And so, yeah, I was delayed in getting these videos recorded. So my sincere apologies. All right. If you are new here, a very warm welcome. And if you are returning, thank you for supporting my channel and coming back. This is a general reading for the time period between mid-March and the end of March 2023. It is intended for everyone born under the sign of Sagittarius, as well as those who have a significant amount of Sagittarius in their charts. This will resonate with you guys as well. As this is a general reading, it's going to resonate with some of you and not others. That's okay. There's a lot of you guys out there. Quick note about timing. When I am tapping in order to give you the reading using intuition, psychic acuity, whatever name you put on it, I'm actually tapping into a different realm or a different plane of existence where timing runs at a different rate of speed than it does here. So at times, the timelines may not add up. So if there's a projection that something specific is going to happen on a specific day, and that doesn't come to pass, it's for one of two reasons. One of the reasons is that the other realm, sorry, I've got a hair in my face. The other realm runs at a different rate of speed. Okay. And the other reason is that you have free will. And this is really, really important. You have free will. So if there is a projection or a prediction that something is going to happen on a certain date, and you go, whoa, 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 whoa. No, I am not in alignment with that. I'm not in agreement. And you make choices that are different from what you would have made had you not received the reading, then what you're actually doing is changing your future and changing the outcome. That is free will. And so on that note of free will, if you have a really important decision to make coming up and you see or hear something in this video or any video that you see as specific advice to you, remember, general reading. Okay, so take all of the pieces of knowledge that you have, deep dive into your own heart, and make the decision that is right for you. Okay, Sagittarius, let's get going on your reading. Quick reminder, I work with a number of different decks rather than working with one single deck. I find that resonates better with my clients. And finally, when I pull your cards, I do leave them face down until I'm actually ready to turn them over and read them. And that way there's an opportunity for more of the psychic and intuitive juices to get flowing rather than me just jumping ahead and reading the cards specifically. Let's have a look at where you are now. We will also look at what you are focusing on. We'll look at some difficult influences. We'll look at a card that just makes sense. We will look at unexpected influences and insights, and we'll look at your general overall outcome. So let's get started. Okay, this deck has been being naughty, throwing cards on the floor, but also when I'm asking for, one or two cards for the zodiac signs, unfortunately, it's decided that it should spit out significantly more cards than that. Okay, Sagittarius, so we do have your first cards here for where you're at now, here in the middle of March. And let's have a look at what you are focusing on. Definitely getting called to this deck. Saw this one clearly in my mind's eye. What are Sagittarius focusing on for mid to late March 2023? Is there anything else? No. Okay. So we do have a number of cards that have jumped out here. Let's have a look at your difficult influences. All right, fairies, are you going to behave yourselves today? Yesterday, while I was doing some of the other readings, the fairies were being really naughty. There was one reading where over 30 cards came out. So for Sagittarius, difficult influences for mid to late March 2023. We do have that one on here. Yeah. Wasn't sure if it was actually going to fall off the top there or not. Anything else? Difficult influences. Right. Anything else? Okay, we do have this card sticking out here and this card sticking out. I'm going to pull those out of the deck and I'm going to just set them aside because they didn't actually jump right out. So I'm not sure whether we're actually going to read them or not. We'll set them aside and see whether we need some clarification for the first two cards that came out for that area of your reading, Sagittarius. Let's have a look at this makes sense. What makes sense for Sagittarius in their reading for mid to late March 2023? Okay. All right. What about some unexpected influences? Unexpected, where are we going? Unexpected insights and influences. Interesting. Okay, I'm getting called over to a deck that I don't normally use, but the desire to go towards this deck didn't subside. So let's try it this way. Unexpected insights and influences for Sagittarius. That was interesting the way that that flipped out. All right. So we do have two cards that came out. Oh, no, there's three. There was two of them stuck together. All right, and let's have a look at your outcome, Sagittarius, for... Okay, so the purpose of the outcome card is where you're projected or predicted to be at come the end of March and going into early April. And again, I'm getting called back over here to the Osho Zen. There's one card already and two, and that's about to fall off the table. So let's move it. Anything else for Sagittarius as their overall outcome? Late March. Okay. All right, so that card came out first, then that one. This one kind of goes in the middle of these three. So there's actually 5 cards here for your outcome, Sagittarius. Let's have a look at where you're at now. We're going to get started. Okay. Wow, interesting. Okay, very, very interesting. You have both the 10 of Pentacles or 10 of Rainbows as it's represented in this deck, as well as the 10 of Cups or the 10 of Water. It's interesting that you've got 2 10s. I can tell you that one of the other signs, and I can't remember offhand which sign it was, also had 2 10s in this exact space for their reading. So you might want to check out some of the other readings. Like I said, off the top of my head, I can't remember which sign it was, but very, very interesting that a lot of people right now are under the sign of 2 10s here at the middle of March. One of these cards is We Are the World. It's the 10 of Pentacles or 10 of Rainbows. And the other one is Harmony. The final card is the 6 of Pentacles or the Compromise card. This is the cards that were pulled with the intention of where you are at now, Sagittarius. So where you are at now, the Pentacles usually represent something with regards to work or career as well as finances. And the 10 is an indication that there are positive things in your finances right now. You can have the world. Okay, good thing. Especially considering there's certain things going on in certain systems right now. In fact, watch this space because I'm going to be doing a new prediction video. I have all my notes made. They've been made for 4 or 5 days, but I just haven't had a chance to make the video yet. But there is something about certain systems and the changes that are coming up. So Sagittarius, We Are the World, the 10 of Pentacles. This is a positive card. It's where you are at now with regards to both career and finances, but more specifically finances, there is always a caveat when the Ten of Pentacles comes out with the Six of Pentacles, which is the compromise card. And that is, be careful. Be careful. Both of these cards are also even cards. So, the 10 is divisible by 5, 6 is divisible by 3. This is a question of make sure that when you are dealing with your finances, that you are creating a balance. Okay, especially with this compromise card coming up here, it's indicating that yes, with this 10, you are in a good place right here, right now in the middle of March. But this card coming up is also saying that you need to be paying attention to your finances. You need to be making sure that what is going out isn't more than what is coming in. I would also just like to say, watch where you're parking your money right now. That's just coming up intuitively. This 10 of Cups coming in right now is also an indication, along with the 10 of Pentacles, that you are just in a beautiful place right now. You're in that place of feeling harmonious. And that kind of goes hand in hand, that, when you're feeling good about your money, then you can also kind of feel good about your life. Right? If you're feeling imbalanced and you're feeling like you have enough and your bills are going to get paid at the end of the month and there's going to be money left over, and those types of feelings and sensations. Interesting. I am picking up that for some of you, you have recently either received a promotion along with some extra money at work, or just a raise in general, even without a change in jobs. But yeah, there's definitely a little bit more money flowing towards you right now, Sagittarius, which is beautiful here in the middle of March. And you're just in this place of harmony. So let's have a look at what you're focusing on. Okay, interestingly, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to repeat this. The Shaman and the Mirror Guardian, there was one other sign that also had the Shaman and the Mirror Guardian in the exact same position in their reading. So there is a lot of commonalities that are going on with a lot of people right now. And it seems to just kind of be a collection of people that are all experiencing and going through similar things right now. Right now, Sagittarius, your focus for mid to late March is the Mirror Guardian. Take time to reflect. And the Shaman, trust in higher forces. Trust that the changes and the shifts that are happening in both your life and everybody else's lives around you are happening for a reason, and they're happening for everyone's highest good. And I know that on the surface, some of what's happening seems to be a little scratchy. Right? It doesn't seem to resonate with a lot of us. A lot of us are actually very fearful right now. And this card is asking you to trust in the process. But part of that process is also not focusing on the negative and not focusing on the scratchy bits and not focusing on the negative narratives. Part of what this is asking you to do, Sagittarius, is focus on the positive, focus on raising your own vibration, focus on the outcome of this can be a positive future for you as well as the people around you. The other card that you have in your focus is the Mountain, the Stand Your Ground card, which is a card of, hey, I've made my choice. I've made my choice to live my life in a good way. And you're not going to sway me. And again, this card coming up in your focus, like I said, with these two cards, is about you standing your ground with regards to what you are going to focus on. And you're going to focus on the positivity. You're going to focus on the fact that there are other energies rather than just humans playing the game down here on Earth, for lack of a better term. Okay, let's have a look at your difficult influences. You've got the 10 of Summer, also known as the 10 of Cups, and you've got the 8 of Spring, also known as the 8 of Wands. Yeah. The 10 of Summer coming up in your difficult influences. This is a card that normally comes up with huge amounts of positivity, just flowing everywhere. Being in your difficult influences, it is indicating that Perhaps there's somebody in your midst that you can't trust fully. There's somebody that's not being fully honest with you right now, Sagittarius, is what I'm picking up from this card. So just pay attention to that over the next 2 weeks. Pay attention to the subtle language and how people are interacting with you. It's not just the words that are coming out of their mouth, it's how those words are spoken in the body language. Pay attention to that this week, because this card in difficult influences is an indication that something's not sitting quite right now. The Eight of Spring, also known as the Eight of Wands, coming in is about sudden changes or events. So when it's in the difficult influences, we read it almost as if it has the opposite meaning, which means that perhaps you are anxious for the next step, and the next step isn't coming quite quickly enough. The other thing with this card is you'll notice that the fairy on this deck is juggling a whole bunch of these pretty little lights, okay? She's got too many things going on up in the air. So Sagittarius, are you trying to multitask too much right now? Because that's one of the other sort of sideways meanings of this card. Perhaps you've got too many balls up in the air that you're trying to juggle right now, Sagittarius. So for now, from mid-March until the end of March, just pay attention. Make sure that you are not overwhelming yourself with what's going on. This makes sense. Okay, this is actually really, really amazing. Remember I said that I was going to pull a card that just makes sense. Your first two cards are about going within, trusting in higher forces, and taking time to reflect. And from a completely different deck, you've got the card of taking shelter. The answers are within. This is also a card of withdrawing from society in order to find the answers that you're seeking. You know, this is actually making sense as well, that if you're being instructed by 3 cards in your reading now to go within, reflect from within, trust in higher forces, and yet you've got this card, the card of too much multitasking going on in your difficult influences, this is really starting to tie things together, Sagittarius, which is the intention of this card, really, in your reading. So Sagittarius, what are you going to do about this little issue that's coming up for mid to late March? Are you trying to juggle too much when you should be doing some inner work? Let's have a look at your unexpected insights and influences. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. I am very careful with that deck not to let it get turned over. It is a cheater tarot deck, so it does have the meanings of the cards on them. But interestingly, you've actually got 2 cards upside down. That very seldom happens in this deck. So we will read them as inverse cards. And interestingly, you also have, you're not going to believe this, your first 2 cards, remember the 2 10s? Now you've got the 10 of Wands as well. Wow. Sagittarius, the chances of getting 3 10s in your reading is just astounding to me. Okay, so you do have the Queen of Swords in reverse, and her reversed meaning is if you're asking a yes or no question, the answer is going to be no. You've also got the 9 of Wands, the answer is no. 10 of Wands in the upright, the answer is no. Okay, there is something right now, Sagittarius, that you're not facing, that you're not facing the truth, you're not facing facts, you are, rather than multitasking, rather than using the terminology multitasking, what you're actually doing right now, Sagittarius, is you are playing the game of distract. Oh, look over there. Oh, look over there. Wait, the truth is right here in front of you. Oh, yeah, but I don't want to look at that. I'm going to go over here. No, wait, the truth is screaming at you right now. Oh, look, a squirrel. I really sense that that's what's coming up with all of this for you. The Queen of Swords reversed is that you're not dealing well with a loss, and you're just not dealing with reality in a positive, healthy way. The Nine of Wands in reverse is again about fighting a losing battle. You know, and the Ten of Wands upright is about feeling associated pressure and feeling overburdened. I keep going back to this Eight of Wands. Okay, so Sagittarius, reading all of this together, and before I turn over your outcome cards, in general, going into mid-March, you're in a good place. You're in this place of positivity, both for your finances as well as, there goes the camera. I told you it was going to do it at least once. I'll just wait till it resets. Come on, camera. You can do this. No? Oh, come on, camera. All right. Sagittarius, going into mid-March, just to reiterate, you're in a good place with these two tens. But as you're moving through March, and based on what you're focusing on, or not focusing on, but should be, you're bringing in this negativity. Like I said, with this, it just dawned on me. It just clicked. This is also a 10. So that's 4 tens so far, Sagittarius. You're bringing in some untrustworthiness. When we don't face the truth that's right in front of us, we open the door to dishonesty, and we literally welcome it in. So Sagittarius, you do have a few little hiccups to get over here during the last half of March. That's not to say that you cannot overcome all of this, but let's have a look at your final outcome cards. Okay. Interesting. Okay. The very first card that you have is the Thunderbolt card. This is a Tower card. This means that what I've been saying is going to sort of come to a head by end of March. And you're going to have a Tower moment. And a Tower moment or a Thunderbolt moment is basically where a lightning bolt hits you, and either you get it or you don't. And that's a choice. That is definitely a choice. Either you get it or you don't. If you don't, the Tower moment is that much more difficult to process and to move forward from. If you get it, all of a sudden, things actually become sunshine, rainbows, and roses. Okay. So all of this is telling me that you can change the outcome of this Tower moment to, okay, you're probably still going to have a Tower moment, but when you get it, it's going to be very easy to move through. And the cards are indicating that you will be able to ultimately move through. There's some beautiful cards here for you. But really, what you are meant to be focusing on for the remainder of March in order to ease this Tower moment is make sure the people that you are surrounding yourself with are honest. Make sure you're paying attention to the truth, and the best way to pay attention to the truth is to tap into your own intuitive abilities. Go within, trust in higher forces, and stand your ground. Remember, with this Mountain card, it's like the iceberg. There is just as much going on below the surface as there is above the surface up here. This is also an indication that something is bubbling or brewing below the surface in and around your life that may not be being fully honest. So Tower moment, most likely at the end of March for you, Sagittarius. But moving forward from that, you're moving into the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Fire, is a time of sharing, actively sharing. Remember what I said at the beginning, that you had this 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles also represents being able to share some of what you have, but you're sharing within your boundaries. And so by the end of March, you are being called to yet again share, maybe not always financially. Perhaps what you are meant to share is what you are learning as you take shelter, as you go into the shaman within yourself, and as you tap into your mirror guardian. That's probably what you're meant to be sharing, Sagittarius. You have the flowering card. This is a queen next to a queen. Oh my goodness. You have the Queen of Pentacles next to the Queen of Wands. Really interesting that you've got these double cards coming out, Sagittarius. Just fascinating to me. So you've got the Queen of Wands. It's the card of sharing. Share your knowledge. Come the end of the month, especially as you extricate yourself from this Tower moment. It's going to be really, really good for you. Incidentally, you also have the Queen of Swords that came up in your unexpected insights. So you actually have 3 queens in your reading today. You have the flowering card. This is the Queen of Pentacles. This is a card of additional abundance floating into your life. And it's also a card of you coming into your own and you flowering. Okay. Like I said, when you do this internal work that the cards are asking you to do from your focus at the beginning of this reading, the end of the month is going to be beautiful. Now, you do have the fighting card that has come up. This is the equivalent to the Page of Swords in the traditional tarot. And what this card is saying is that there is going to be that internal fight within you, within each of you, okay? As you bump into this and you bump into going back and forth between wanting to distract yourself or facing the truth, there will be a little bit of this internal struggle, but you can definitely move past this. How can you move past this? Last card of your entire reading here, Sagittarius, your inner voice. How do you like that for tying everything together from all these different cards, all these different decks? At the beginning, your focus was listen to your inner voice, and you are closing out March by listening to your inner voice and really, really digging deep and practicing that. All right. Thank you, Sagittarius. Thank you for bearing with me through my camera problems and through my illnesses. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you being here. And I hope that you'll join me again for your early April reading in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.